You may not always understand why things unfold the way they do, but I want you to hear this truth today. God used you to teach them a lesson. You may have been misunderstood, overlooked, or mistreated, but there was a divine purpose in every moment. When people hurt you, when they tried to take advantage of you, or when they belittled you, it wasn't just about what they did to you, it was about what God was doing through you. God allowed those circumstances to come into your life, not because you were weak, but because He knew you had the strength to endure. You see, your life is not just for you. You're not just here to live and survive. You are here to be an example, to be a lesson to others. God uses your resilience, your character, your ability to forgive, your patience in the face of adversity to teach those around you something they may never have learned any other way. There are people in your life who needed to see how you responded to difficulty. They needed to see that you didn't retaliate, that you didn't give up on your values or your faith. They needed to witness the power of your calm when chaos surrounded you, the strength in your silence when accusations were thrown your way. God knew that when you stood your ground, when you refused to break, they would learn something they couldn't learn from anyone else. Sometimes the greatest lessons are learned through hardship. People watch you go through the fire and they wonder, how does she do it? How does he stand strong? And what they don't realize is that your strength is not your own. It is the power of God working through you. God used you as the vessel to show them what faith, what perseverance, and what grace look like in action. They may not have learned it from their circumstances, but they learned it by watching you. Do not be discouraged by the storms that have come against you. Do not feel defeated by the betrayal, the criticism, or the rejection. Know that it was not in vain. You were chosen for that moment, and because of your faithfulness, others will be able to see God's power, His love, and His ability to transform lives. You may not always see it, but there are people whose lives are being changed because of the way you handled your situation. God allows you to walk through these things because He trusts you. He knows you will hold up His standard. You will keep your head up, and you will keep your head up, and you will keep your heart pure. You are His witness in the world, and through your example, you are teaching others what it means to follow His path. When God uses you to teach a lesson to others, it is not just about them learning, but about you becoming more like Christ in the process. Every difficulty you face, every trial you've overcome, is not just for your growth, it's for the growth of everyone who's watching you. And one day when they reflect on their own lives, they will remember how you handled your circumstances with dignity and grace. They will remember how you chose to forgive, how you chose to rise above, and they will be changed because of it. So stand tall today, knowing that you are not just a survivor, you are a teacher. God is using you to show the world what it looks like to live according to His will. Your life is a message, a living testimony of the power of God's love and grace. Keep walking in that truth and know that you are fulfilling a purpose far greater than what you can see in the moment. You are teaching them a lesson that will last a lifetime. The challenges you face are not random. God allows them to teach both you and others valuable lessons. Every trial that you go through is part of a greater plan that you may not fully understand at the moment, but is deeply rooted in the divine purpose for your life. Too often, we view our struggles as setbacks, as moments where the world is against us, or as personal failures. However, in God's economy, these challenges are never just obstacles. They are opportunities for growth, for learning, and for teaching. They are not meant to break you, but to shape you into the person you were destined to become. Think about it. When things are easy, we often forget to grow. We stay comfortable, we stay still, and we miss the lessons that can only be taught in the furnace of adversity. But when life challenges us, we are forced to move, to change, to adjust. In those moments, we tap into a strength that we didn't know we had, and in doing so, we open ourselves to learning lessons that shape our character, refine our hearts, and strengthen our faith. God doesn't waste a moment of your life, and He certainly doesn't waste your struggles. Even the hardest trials serve a purpose that extends beyond your own experience. The things you endure have the power to impact others, to guide them, and to provide them with the lessons they need to grow. When you go through hardship, there's a chance that someone somewhere will witness your journey. They will see how you respond, not just in the good times, but in the difficult moments when you are tested. Your strength in those moments will teach them a lesson about resilience, faith, and the power of God. God's hand is at work in your life, even in the trials. He allows you to face hardships because He knows what it will produce in you. He knows that through every difficulty, you will come out stronger, more compassionate, and more equipped to help others. Your life becomes a testimony not just of your endurance, but of God's faithfulness. Through the pain, through the struggles, through the moments where you didn't know how you would make it through, God is refining you, preparing you, and positioning you to fulfill a greater purpose that transcends your own experience. So when you face difficulties, don't just look at them as obstacles to your peace or happiness. See them for what they are, part of the greater plan God has for you. Understand that God is not just preparing you, He is preparing you to teach others. The lessons you learn through your trials will not only shape your own character, but will also equip you to help others navigate their own struggles. In this way, God is using your life to fulfill a purpose far greater than what you might see at the surface level. Your life is not just for your own growth, it's meant to be an example for others to learn from. We often focus on our personal struggles and triumphs, thinking of our journey as something that is only about us. But in reality, the way you live your life has a far-reaching impact. Every action you take, every decision you make, every challenge you overcome is not only shaping you, but also offering lessons to those around you. You are a living, breathing example of what faith looks like in action. The choices you make, even when they seem small, have the potential to teach those around you something they might never have understood otherwise. There are people watching you, whether you realize it or not, who are observing how you respond to life's difficulties, how you handle the pressures that come your way, and how you maintain your values even when it's hard. They may not say it, they may not even let you know, but your actions are speaking louder than your words ever could. People are learning from your example. When they see you keep going despite setbacks, when they witness you hold your head high in the midst of adversity, they are learning lessons about perseverance, about strength, and about trust in God. Often, the greatest lessons we learn in life come not from teachings or speeches, but from watching the lives of those around us. Your life becomes a testimony to what it means to live out your faith, to walk in integrity, and to maintain a sense of peace despite the chaos. By living according to your principles and staying true to your beliefs, you are teaching others not just by what you say, but by who you are. Your character, shaped through every trial and every victory, becomes a living sermon that speaks to those who may be struggling or questioning their own faith. You see, the life you live is never just about you. You are part of a larger narrative, a greater story. God placed you in the lives of others not just to bless you, but to be a blessing to them. The way you navigate life's challenges teaches them how to face their own. Your courage in the face of fear, your patience in the midst of frustration, your ability to forgive when wrong, these actions are lessons in themselves. They offer a blueprint for others to follow when they find themselves in similar circumstances. And it's not just the big moments that matter. Sometimes it's in the small, everyday actions that we make the greatest impact. It's the way you show kindness in a world that can be harsh, the way you maintain your integrity when no one is watching, the way you offer a helping hand when it's least expected. These simple yet profound actions teach others what it means to live with purpose, with grace, and with a heart set on serving others. God knows what you are capable of, and He knows that your example will be a light to those around you. Even when you don't feel like you are making a difference, remember that your life is constantly speaking to others. They may be learning more from your life than they ever could from a lecture, because it is through your experiences, your choices, and your faith that they come to understand the deeper truths of life. You are not just living for yourself. You are part of something far bigger. Your life is a mirror reflecting the greatness of God's grace, a lesson in what it means to walk in His light, and a testimony of His love for the world. As you continue to walk this path, never forget that you are an example to others. Every day you are teaching lessons that go far beyond what you may see in the moment. Your life, when lived according to God's purpose, becomes a powerful tool for teaching and transformation in the lives of others. God chose you to endure hardship because He knows you have the strength to teach others through your resilience. The trials you face are not arbitrary. They are divinely orchestrated, strategically placed in your life because God has confidence in your ability to overcome them and to show others the power of endurance. You see, the struggles that you go through are not designed to defeat you, but to refine you, to bring out the best in you, and to reveal the strength that lies dormant within you. God knows that in the midst of hardship, you will stand firm, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Sometimes we question why we are the ones who have to face certain challenges. We ask why we have to endure pain, why we have to suffer, or why we seem to bear burdens that others do not. But in reality, God has designed you for these moments because He knows you are capable of handling them. He sees the strength that you have yet to see within yourself. These challenges are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you, to prepare you for something greater, and to shape you into the person you are called to be. When you go through difficult times, remember that God isn't punishing you. Instead, He is empowering you. He is equipping you with the endurance, the wisdom, and the grace to handle life's challenges with a strength that comes not from your own ability, but from His divine power working through you. You are being shaped into someone who can withstand the storms of life and still walk with your head held high. Your resilience in the face of adversity becomes a testimony, not just for your own growth, but for those around you who are watching. The people in your life, the ones who are struggling and questioning their own faith, will look at you and wonder, how is it possible that she stands so strong? How is it that he can keep going despite all that has happened? And the answer will be clear. It is not by your own might, but by the strength God has placed within you. Your resilience, your ability to keep moving forward, teaches others the power of perseverance, the importance of trusting God in the hardest moments, and the truth that victory is not always immediate, but it is certain when you trust in His timing. God chooses those who He knows will rise above their circumstances. He knows you are capable of teaching others that their circumstances do not define them. You are not a victim of your situation. You are a conqueror through Christ. Your life, the way you overcome hardship, becomes a living lesson in resilience, showing others that no matter how hard life gets, with God's strength, you can endure and come out stronger on the other side. When you stand firm in your faith and trust in God's purpose for your life, you become a beacon of hope for those around you. Your strength through adversity will inspire them to keep fighting their own battles, to stand firm in their own faith, and to trust that God is always with them, even in the hardest moments. Through your example, others will learn that hardships do not have the power to define us, but that it is through our response to them, our resilience, and our unwavering faith that we show the true power of God in our lives. God allows you to endure hardship because He knows that your strength will not only carry you through, but will also empower and inspire others to rise above their challenges. Your ability to remain steadfast, to stay true to your values, and to trust in God's plan, even when the road is tough, becomes a lesson for everyone who witnesses your journey. You are not just enduring for yourself, you are enduring for them. And in doing so, you are showing them that they too can overcome whatever they face with God's strength and grace. How you react to adversity with grace and patience teaches others more than words ever could. It's not the challenges themselves that make an impact, it's the way you respond to them. In the face of difficulties, when life seems to be at its hardest, your reactions are where true character is revealed. Anyone can smile when life is easy, but the true measure of your strength, your faith, and your purpose is seen in how you handle the storms. And it is in those moments that you teach the most profound lessons, not through your words, but through your actions. You see, life is full of moments when things will test your patience. The trials and setbacks will come, and when they do, they present you with a choice. Will you react with frustration, anger, or fear? Or will you choose to respond with grace, understanding, and trust in God's plan? It is in those moments of choice that you set an example for others. People are watching how you respond to life's challenges, and in seeing how you navigate these difficult times, they learn the power of composure, of patience, and of faith. Think about the people in your life who have been sources of inspiration. What stands out about them? Likely, it wasn't their ability to avoid challenges, but rather their ability to face them with a calm, resolute heart. They didn't give up when things got hard. Instead, they found strength in their faith and peace in knowing that God was with them. They weren't immune to pain or suffering, but they chose to respond in a way that inspired others to do the same. That is the power of grace in action. It teaches others that no matter how difficult life may seem, peace can still reign in our hearts if we trust in God's plan for our lives. Patience, too, becomes a powerful teacher. In a world that thrives on instant gratification, where everyone is in a rush and constantly seeking quick fixes, the ability to wait, to endure, and to remain steadfast is a rare and invaluable lesson. When you face adversity with patience, you are not only growing your own character, but you are also demonstrating to others that there is power in waiting on God's timing. The world may try to rush you to pressure you, but you show them that true strength is found in trusting God's perfect timing. By remaining patient and steadfast, you teach others that there is beauty in the process and that sometimes the best things take time. Moreover, when you handle adversity with grace, you reflect God's love to the world. Grace is not merely about being kind to others, it's about showing the same love and mercy that God extends to us. It is about forgiving those who hurt us, offering compassion when others are in need, and choosing to respond with a heart of peace instead of retaliation. People learn what true grace looks like when they see it modeled in your life. When they witness you choosing love over hate, forgiveness over bitterness, and peace over conflict, they see what it means to live as Christ did, one who responded to the most intense trials with an unwavering sense of peace and a heart full of love. Your ability to remain graceful and patient in the face of challenges becomes a living example to those around you. They may be going through their own struggles and looking for a way to respond. When they see you, they are learning from your example. Your calm in the storm teaches them how to remain grounded in their own faith, how to face adversity with courage, and how to trust in the process even when the outcome is uncertain. And let's not forget that this response to adversity is not just for others, it strengthens you as well. Every time you choose grace over anger, patience over frustration, and trust over doubt, you are deepening your own faith. You are drawing closer to God, learning to rely on Him more, and becoming a stronger person, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your resilience in these moments becomes a testimony of God's strength working through you, and that testimony is far more powerful than any lecture or teaching. In the end, your response to life's challenges, when done with grace and patience, becomes one of the most powerful ways you can teach others. Through your actions, you show them that it is not the adversity that defines us, but how we choose to face it. Your strength, calmness, and faith in the midst of storms will inspire those around you to face their own struggles with the same grace and trust. Through your example, you teach them that no matter how overwhelming life's challenges may seem, God is always there, and with Him, we can face anything with peace and strength. When you stand firm in your faith and trust God's process, you teach others the power of resilience. Resilience is not about never falling or facing setbacks, but about how you rise after you've been knocked down. The strength that comes from staying grounded in your beliefs, especially when everything around you seems to be falling apart, becomes a powerful lesson for those who are watching. Life will throw challenges your way, some big, some small, but how you respond in those moments teaches others the most important lesson of all, that no matter what happens, your faith can carry you through. In this world, people often look for signs of hope when they feel as though they have nothing left. They are looking for something or someone to show them that it's possible to keep going, even when everything seems impossible. When you maintain your faith, when you trust God's timing and remain steadfast in your beliefs, you become that beacon of hope. Your ability to continue moving forward in the midst of adversity gives others the courage to do the same. It tells them that no matter how tough the road may get, they are not alone and they can keep moving toward their purpose with faith as their guide. The process that God takes you through, while it may not always make sense in the moment, is for your own growth and for the growth of those around you. When you go through difficult seasons and yet come out stronger, it shows others that they too can survive the trials they are facing. They may be wondering if they have what it takes to overcome their own struggles, and when they see you enduring with grace and faith, they realize that they too have the strength within them to persevere. Resilience isn't about pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It's about acknowledging the difficulty of the situation, recognizing the pain, but choosing not to let it define you. It's about refusing to be crushed under the weight of your circumstances, instead choosing to rise above them. People need to see that it's okay to struggle, but it's also okay to rise again. Your ability to continue, even when everything in your world may seem uncertain, sends a message that there is always hope, and no matter how heavy the burden, there is always a way to carry it with grace. Moreover, resilience teaches others that growth often happens in the most unlikely places, in the midst of the struggle, in the heart of the storm. When you keep trusting God through your pain, you show others that their difficulties do not define them. These trials are shaping them, refining them, and preparing them for something greater. Your faith through the process becomes a living example of what it means to trust God, not just for the breakthrough, but through the breakdown. Every time you face a setback and choose to stay firm in your faith, you teach others that they are not defined by their failures, but by their ability to stand up and keep moving forward. When you trust God's process, you are teaching others to be patient in their own journey. Everyone's timeline is different. The breakthroughs we long for may not come immediately, and the path may seem unclear at times. But in those moments, it is your trust in God's timing that becomes the most valuable lesson. You are showing others that God's timing is always perfect and His plans are always greater than our own. Your ability to wait with patience and trust becomes a powerful message to those who are tempted to give up because things aren't happening as quickly as they'd hoped. Through your resilience, you're teaching others that it's not the destination that matters most, but the journey itself. It's the process that shapes us, that builds our character, that strengthens our faith. When you walk through challenges with grace, faith, and an unshakable belief that God's process is always for your good, you show others that they can do the same. You teach them that their faith is the key to overcoming, and that by trusting God's process, they will emerge stronger and more prepared for the purpose God has for them. Your resilience isn't just a personal victory, it is a lesson that ripples outward, touching the lives of those around you. It shows them that faith isn't a one-time decision, it's a daily choice to trust God, to keep moving, and to believe that no matter what happens, He is always with you. By standing firm in your faith and trusting God's process, you are not only growing, but you are becoming a source of strength and inspiration for others. Your resilience teaches them that with faith, they too can endure, they too can overcome. And they too can fulfill the purpose that God has placed on their lives. When you embrace the challenges that come your way with an unwavering spirit, you show others the value of embracing their own battles. It's easy to be discouraged by life's struggles, but it's the way you face these moments that sends the most powerful message. You see, God doesn't allow hardships to break us, He allows them to build us. When you stand tall in the face of adversity, when you walk through the storm with faith and confidence, you teach others the importance of resilience and courage. Your ability to face difficulties head-on with trust in God's plan is a lesson that can never be taught by words alone. It is taught by your actions, by the way you live in the midst of your trials. When the world expects you to crumble, you rise. When others anticipate that you will give up, you press forward. It's in these moments of adversity that your faith is tested. But it's also in these moments that others learn the most from you. When they see you walking through the fire and coming out, not just unscathed, but stronger, they realize that they too can endure whatever life throws at them. Your ability to withstand hardships without letting them consume you teaches others that struggles do not define who we are, but how we respond to them does. The strength to keep going is not found in avoiding difficulty, but in facing it with a heart full of faith and trust. Sometimes the world will question why things are happening to you, why you're facing certain difficulties. They won't understand the why behind your struggles, but you know that God allows things to happen not to hurt you, but to prepare you. Through these experiences, God is shaping your character, strengthening your resolve, and drawing you closer to your purpose. Others may look at you and wonder how you continue, but in reality, it's your reliance on God's strength that carries you through. By standing firm, you teach others that God is always present in the trials, and that His purpose is greater than any obstacle you face. They learn that the battles we face today are the training grounds for the victories of tomorrow. Every time you face a setback and refuse to be defeated, you teach others that success is not about avoiding hardship, but learning to overcome it. People often think that life's struggles are signs that they are failing, but in truth, those struggles are opportunities for growth. Your example shows others that failure isn't permanent unless you allow it to be. You demonstrate that each challenge is a stepping stone to a greater destiny. Through your perseverance, others learn that what they face today will not last forever, and that with faith, they too can conquer whatever comes their way. Moreover, you demonstrate the power of persistence. The road to success is rarely smooth, it's filled with twists and turns, obstacles and setbacks. Yet, your ability to keep going, even when the path is unclear, teaches others that persistence is the key to unlocking the doors of success. It's not about getting everything right on the first try, but about continuing to try, about learning from each setback and using it as fuel to push forward. Your persistence in the face of adversity teaches others that no matter how difficult the journey may seem, they should never give up. Success comes not from avoiding failure, but from the determination to rise again each time we fall. Additionally, embracing adversity with faith shows others that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. You may not have all the answers, but in those moments when you feel the most vulnerable, God's power shines the brightest. Your struggles are not a reflection of your inadequacy, but an opportunity for God to display His faithfulness and grace. By leaning on God during your challenges, you show others that it is in our weakest moments that His strength is most evident. Your faith becomes a testimony to those around you, showing them that when they face their own difficulties, they can rely on God to give them the strength they need to endure. Each challenge you face and overcome becomes a lesson in endurance, a lesson in trusting God's timing and His plans. The more you lean into God during your trials, the more others see how faith can sustain them during their own struggles. Your resilience becomes a living testimony that God is with you in every season, even in the toughest moments. By continuing to push forward with unwavering faith, you demonstrate to others that they too can trust God to carry them through their storms. So you teach others the value of strength in weakness, the importance of trusting God even when the way seems unclear, and the power of resilience when life gets tough. Through your life, you show that adversity is not something to fear, but something to embrace with faith and courage. Your ability to keep moving forward, to walk through each trial with grace, teaches others that they are not alone in their struggles, and that through faith, they too can overcome anything life throws at them. Through your journey, you become the living proof that God can turn any trial into a testimony of His power and faithfulness. When you are placed in positions where others try to take advantage of you, where you are wronged or mistreated, God is often using you to teach those individuals a lesson about character, integrity, and accountability. In these moments, it's easy to become frustrated or angry, to seek revenge or justice on your own terms. But God's ways are not our ways, and His plan is always higher than what we can see in the moment. Instead of reacting out of pain or pride, you become an instrument in God's hands to teach others valuable lessons, often without them even realizing it. When someone mistreats you, they may be unaware of the consequences of their actions, or they may justify their behavior to themselves. But through your response, God is teaching them that actions have consequences, that how we treat others matters, and that there is power in doing what is right, even when others do not. When you choose to respond with grace and forgiveness, instead of retaliation or bitterness, you demonstrate to them that there is a higher standard for how we treat one another. You show them that it is possible to rise above the situation, to maintain your integrity, and to show love even when it seems undeserved. Your reaction teaches them a lesson in empathy, because they begin to see the impact of their behavior, not just on you, but on others. Often people act out of ignorance or selfishness, not realizing how their words or actions are affecting those around them. By responding with kindness and maintaining your character, you are not only teaching them about the value of integrity, but also showing them what it looks like to extend grace. You are giving them the opportunity to reflect on their actions and hopefully to change for the better. This is a reflection of how God works in our own lives. When we make mistakes or act out of line, God doesn't always immediately strike us down or punish us. Instead, He shows us mercy and love, giving us the chance to learn from our mistakes and grow. Similarly, when others wrong you, by responding in love and forgiveness, you mirror that same grace that God shows to each of us. You become the vessel through which they learn what true grace looks like, what it means to give someone the opportunity to change, to turn their hearts back toward righteousness. God uses these moments to teach others about accountability, because by not allowing their mistreatment to shake your faith or character, you show them that there is a standard of behavior that transcends the moment. Your decision to keep your composure and maintain your integrity in the face of mistreatment becomes a powerful lesson. You show them that true strength is not about retaliating, but about standing firm in your values and demonstrating the power of self-control. You show them that it is possible to be wronged and still choose the high road, to choose peace and forgiveness over conflict and bitterness. It's also important to remember that by choosing not to retaliate, you are not letting others off the hook. In fact, you are allowing God to be the one who handles the situation. Romans 12:19 reminds us, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." When you take the step to release the need for revenge, you allow God to step in and deal with the situation in His way and in His timing. This teaches others that God is ultimately in control and that justice is in His hands, not ours. Through your example, others learn that seeking vengeance or holding on to resentment only poisons the soul. When you choose forgiveness, you are not just letting go of the situation, you are setting yourself free. You are teaching others the importance of freeing themselves from the burden of bitterness, anger, and unforgiveness. By doing so, you show them that forgiveness is a gift, not just to those who have wronged us, but to ourselves. It is through forgiveness that healing begins, and you teach others that no offense is worth sacrificing your peace for. God's purpose in these situations is often greater than we realize. When someone wrongs you, they may not immediately see the impact of their actions or the lesson they need to learn. But through your ability to stay calm, to forgive, and to rise above the situation with grace, you give them the opportunity to examine their own behavior and make a change. You provide them with the opportunity to see their mistake through your eyes, and in doing so, you are helping to shape their character, just as God uses these moments to shape ours. In the end, the lesson you teach is one of reflection, of responsibility, and of love. By choosing not to retaliate, not to hold grudges, and not to harbor bitterness, you are showing others that there is always a better way to handle conflict. You teach them that the way of peace is always more powerful than the way of anger. Your response becomes a living example of the love and grace that God extends to all of us, and it is through this that lives are changed. Through your actions, God teaches them that there is always an opportunity to do better, to be better, and to reflect the love of God in all that we do. In moments of difficulty, when you are misunderstood or when your character is being challenged, God uses these experiences to shape not only you, but also those around you. Your ability to hold your ground with integrity teaches others the importance of staying true to their values, even when the world pressures them to do otherwise. You see, the world often measures success and worth by outward appearances, by material wealth, or by how others perceive you. But God's measurements are different. He looks at the heart, at your character, and your ability to endure. Through your life, God is teaching others that true success is not defined by how many accolades or external validations you receive, but by your ability to remain faithful to what is right, even when others question you. When you are placed in situations where people try to undermine you or speak ill of you, it is not a reflection of your worth. Rather, it is an opportunity for you to demonstrate the strength of your character. The way you respond, the way you maintain your dignity, speaks volumes about who you are and who you are becoming in God's eyes. People around you will begin to see that when you are attacked or wronged, you don't fight back with harsh words or revenge. Instead, you stand firm and you trust God to handle the situation. Your response teaches them the power of resilience and the importance of protecting your peace, even in the midst of conflict. There are times when others will try to provoke you, to push your buttons, to test your patience, and God allows it, not to harm you, but to reveal your true strength. It's in these moments that your response is most powerful. By not reacting to negativity with negativity, you demonstrate that you have control over your emotions and actions, and that you understand the bigger picture. When you do not allow others to dictate how you respond, you teach them that it's possible to live above the circumstances, to not be ruled by your emotions, but to act with wisdom, patience, and love. It's not always easy to maintain your integrity when those around you are behaving badly. It's easy to get caught up in the drama, to feel the need to defend yourself or to retaliate when someone mistreats you. But when you choose to remain calm and composed, you are teaching others that their opinions of you do not define you. You are not bound by their judgments or criticisms, and neither should they be. In your ability to stay true to who you are, you set an example that encourages others to live with the same strength of character. You teach them that they don't have to conform to the world's standards or the opinions of others. They can stand firm in their own convictions and know that their true value is found in God, not in external validation. In these moments when you hold your ground with grace and integrity, you are also showing others the importance of self-respect. You are teaching them that while it's important to love others, it's equally important to love and respect yourself. When you allow others to mistreat you without consequence, you send a message that their behavior is acceptable. But when you choose to walk away from toxic situations or respond with wisdom, you show others the value of boundaries and self-respect. You teach them that it's okay to protect your peace and that doing so is not an act of selfishness, but of strength and self-love. Even in your struggles, God uses you to impart lessons to others. When you walk through the trials of life with grace, others learn that suffering is not something to be avoided, but something to be endured with faith. Your ability to stand tall in the face of adversity teaches others that, though life may be difficult at times, it is through these challenges that we grow, learn, and become stronger. Your response to hardship can encourage others to face their own trials with the same strength, knowing that they too have the power to endure and overcome. Through your actions, you are teaching the people around you the value of patience, perseverance, and faith. They will see you walk through seasons of difficulty without losing your joy or your peace. And in doing so, they will begin to understand that the peace you carry is not dependent on external circumstances, but on an internal trust in God's plan. Your faithfulness in adversity teaches them to hold on, to trust in God's timing, and to know that in the end, all things work together for good for those who love Him. God is using these moments to show others that the storms of life do not define you. How you respond to them does. You teach them that strength is not found in never experiencing difficulties, but in how you respond to them. By choosing to face each challenge with faith and grace, you demonstrate that God's power is made perfect in our weakness. It is through these experiences that others learn what it means to rely on God's strength and to trust in His plan no matter what life throws at them. Your unwavering faith in God's ability to turn any situation around teaches others that they too can trust God to carry them through. In this way, you become not only a recipient of God's lessons, but also a teacher to those around you, guiding them in their own faith journey. In every situation where you face challenges, God often uses those very moments to teach others what true strength looks like. The world teaches us that strength is about asserting dominance, taking control, and showing no vulnerability. But God's definition of strength is different. He uses your humility, your ability to forgive, and your willingness to walk in grace as powerful lessons for those around you. When you walk through hardship with faith, you show others that strength is not in the ability to never fall, but in your ability to rise after you have fallen. When someone wrongs you or tries to hurt you, your reaction becomes a powerful teaching moment for them. Often, people's behavior stems from their own pain, insecurity, or misunderstanding. By choosing not to react out of anger or frustration, you show them that their words or actions cannot control your peace or your actions. Instead of giving in to the temptation to lash out, you demonstrate that true strength is found in self-control. You become a living example of what it means to take the high road, to choose grace over resentment and love over hatred.